replacing a threshold and putting a sweep on the bottom of a door today. This old threshold was more soggy than some of those tomatoes that are at the bottom of the plant, end up laying on the ground and turning that funny color of brown. Still had just enough sturdiness to it to give me a time getting it out. Had to cut it with the multi-tool and then pull all the rusty nails. Cleaned it up pretty nice and started off with the vacuum. And then I got my new threshold out. This is one of the larger ones. It's 1.1 inches in total. I like to cut my thresh with all the notches to the door jamb in it. So I take a little bit of time to do this, but it makes it look real nice when it's done. Really happy that all the floor and wood underneath was still in a real healthy, solid condition, so I didn't have to replace anything else. Here I am using a hacksaw. I'll tell you what, if I had a nickel for everything I cut with a hacksaw as a kid, and then I got the easy way out and went for the multi-tool. But I cut so much stuff with a hacksaw when I was a kid. My dad showed me how to start sawing stuff. There wasn't a thing I didn't cut with a hacksaw. From bone to wood to metal to you name it, I cut it with a hacksaw when I was a kid. My arm would never go out. So I used the piece that I cut off to mark out my notches so that I could get a real nice diagram going of what I wanted to cut out so that it would fit around the jamb nicely. It's funny, I don't remember when it happened, but it somewhere along the line happened when I could take a tape measure and roll it into an inside corner like that and actually get my measurement right. But forever, it was like this phantom math that plagued me. I was always off or over by 1/8 inch. Here I go back with the multi-tool again. At some point here, I decided this blade was not sharp enough, and then I went to looking in my van and looked forever for my case of multi-blades. Thought for sure that somebody might have ended up taking it and put it in their truck at about the time that I found it, of course. And then I realized it was just me being a mess that I couldn't find the things I'm looking for. I recently went from a utility bed tool truck to a minivan, which I really like a lot of things about the minivan, but being that I'm already a total chaos by nature and not having enough drawers, shelves, and suitable hangers for everything does make life really hectic right now. Whenever cutting anything like this, I always cut my face right on the line, but then I'll always back cut everything else so that it gives me a little more wiggle room when I'm trying to put it in. Tell you what, turning up the speed on these videos makes a man feel like Superman. Feel like if a guy watches enough videos on hyperspeed like this, you might even start trying to go that fast in real life. It's always this fine area of perfection to make something just tight enough that you have to persuade it to go in and it ends up being perfect, or it's too big and you got to fight it, pull it back out and cut it and waste a ton of time, or you cut it too small and it looks like crap. If I had a nickel for every time I cut something perfect first time, I'd probably be called Nicholas. Cut the rubber for the right length, and then of course, as soon as I got it in and noticed that the door was too low to the ground now, but I was kind of counting on that. So then I had to pull the door off. This is a half door, or a pony door I might call it. First pin came out real nice. Bottom one was too painted and couldn't get it to come loose. So I just went into the inside and took the screws off. Of course, they were flatheads. Always makes me wonder how the guys back in the day got along with all these flat-headed screws. Feel like we're definitely spoiled nowadays with our Phillips and then now on to Torx. So I went ahead and marked it, and then I added another 1/8 because I'm going to put a sweep on there, and it's about a 1/4 inch, but I want a nice tight seal. In my old age and laziness, I didn't want to run down the stairs and get a straight edge, so I just used the old thresh metal. It made a nice straight line, though. Halfway through this cut, my saw battery died, and I had to change her out. Went on to putting the sweep on the bottom of the door. Had to cut it back a 1/2 inch because of the old style weather stripping, those little metal fins that stick in, so each side of the door had a 1/2 inch reveal of the... Tried cutting it with a knife and went to the hacksaw again. Went ahead and screwed the sweep on the door. And then, just because I like to make sure things ain't going to fall off, I put some screws in the bottom of it as well. Putting this door back in, put the pin in the top one, but it was fighting me because it was a heavy door for only being half a door. Put my hammer underneath of it though, and then it was real easy to hold it in place while I put the screws in. So the door worked out nice and cleared the thresh. So then I went ahead and vacuumed everything out of the grooves so I could start putting the rubber back in. This rubber was a little hard to get in, but had to trim a little bit of the metal old weather stripping so that the rubber would fit in there. Then proceeded to squeeze and push until I got it all set into the grooves nice. Then I just used the hammer to go up and back and forth on it till I got it all into the groove all the way down. The new sweep and thresh kissed like they were courting, and I was a happy man. Went ahead and caulked it and siliconed everything up and made this door sealed watertight like a dolphin's butt.